Hello and welcome to the morning sports briefing here on New Zealand Sports Radio. It's Tuesday, the 6th of October, and I hope you are having a fantastic week. Because, boy, down here in Hamilton, the weather has been a bit strange, starting off with bits of fog and then warming up, being hot days. So do enjoy your days once you get out there. Obviously, the rest of the country not quite so foggy, but hey, we love our haze down here in Hamilton. In the news today, we've got updates from the French Open in the tennis, including a player taking a meal mid-game. We've got news in boxing. We've got a new boat on the water in the America's Cup for our sailing news. In the cricket, the White Ferns are struggling. The White Ferns struggles continue across the Tasman. The NBA, oh boy, we have a cracker in that one that puts the Heat back in contention. Over in the rugby, we have news around the Bledisloe Cup. And then in the cycling, we have news not only from the Giro d'Italia, but also from mountain biking as well. This is your best way to start the day up to speed with all of the important sports news. And let's crack into it with that tennis news. First up, on the men's side of things, a record now for Djokovic as he makes the quarterfinals for the 11th successive year. A bit tougher this time, 6-4, 6-3, 6-3 for him to go through against Karen Chanchanov in that one. So Djokovic has gone through there. Over on the women's side, and German Siegmund went through, but she took the opportunity when her opponent had an injury break to get a kind of snack box from the sideline. Got out a fork and started eating noodles during the match. What she said was basically that she'd been struggling to eat with stomach issues and needed the carbs to get her through the game. So it worked for her, though. As I say, she has made it through now to the quarterfinals, 7-5, 6-2, where she will face 7th seed Kvitova, who beats Zhang 6-2, 6-4. Currently, the 4th seed Kenin is having to fight back against Ferrero. Ferrero won the first set 6-2. Kenin is 5-2 up in the second set. So that's live now if you want to head over and check that out. And let's hand you over now to Ashwin for our cricket update.
Good morning, Paul, and good morning to all our viewers and listeners on the interweb. And as Paul mentioned in the headlines, the White Fern struggles continue across the Tasman. After scoring what seemed to be a competitive total, the White Ferns have been easily beaten again by the Australian women's team. New Zealand scored 252 for 9 off their 50 overs, with Sophie Devine 79 off 115 balls, and Amy Satterthwaite 69 off 73, the mainstay of the innings. In response, Australia cruised through the total with 255 for 6, with nearly 5 overs to spare. Rachel Haynes with 82 off 89, and Meg Lanning 101 off 96, laying the platform for the easy win. Bit of an editorial. To me, the attitude of the difference between the two teams was summed up off the last ball of the match. Australia needing 1 run to win and Meg Lanning 3 for a century. The White Ferns effectively handed Lanning the ball to get to the century and the win. And realistically speaking, they should have been making it a lot more difficult for Lanning to get to that three-figure mark. Anyway, in further bad news for the White Ferns, Susie Bates is out of the remainder of the series with the shoulder injury suffered in the first ODI. It's unknown the full impact and whether it will impact her in the start of the WBBL with the Adelaide Strikers. The WBBL starts later this month. I think also of concern will be to the White Ferns management in terms of how major it is with their local matches later on. I suppose will be closer in next year. Moving on to this morning's IPL match, another big total is the Delhi Capitals fall just short of the 200 mark this time with 196 for 4 off their 20 overs. That despite a fantastic bowling effort from Washington Sundar with only 20 from his 4 overs. In reply, the Royal Challengers Bangalore never seriously threatened the total as they fell 60 runs short of the target, ending up on 137 for 9. That would have to be a massive disappointment for RCB, with a top order which includes power hitters Aaron Finch, Virat Kohli, and AB de Villiers. In injury news in the IPL, Amit Misra will miss the remainder of the IPL version 2020. Misra sustained the injury to his ring finger on his bowling hand in the match with the Kolkata Knight Riders on October the 3rd. And finally, the recriminations continue in Cricket South Africa. Cricket South Africa have released a summary of report which was put together by their lawyers into cricket in the country. The abridged version was 46 pages and 11,000 words, and goes on to blame most of the issues at the feet of Thabang Moreau. Now, Moreau is still in the process of challenging his dismissal from back on August the 27th in court. And Paul, that's our cricket news for today.
Thank you very much, Ashwin. Wow, the abridged version was 46 pages. I hate to think what the full version was.
Absolutely. That's good bedtime reading.
Summary, folks. Cool. I'm going to hand you over now to Stephen, who's going to take us through our birthdays. Morning, Stephen.
Yes, good morning, lads, and good morning to everybody tuning into New Zealand Sport Radio. What is a very great start to the morning here in Auckland, sitting at 11 degrees, but it will burn off and we'll see a high of 18 degrees. I must admit, it was a little bit warmer yesterday, predicted at 19, but it got up to 22 at times, and it seems roads just moving quite nicely, especially out here in the western suburbs of Auckland. In birthdays this morning, a field athlete who's arguably one of New Zealand's best, a javelin thrower who's competed at both the Commonwealth Games and the Olympic Games, and finally a New Zealand professional cyclist. And that's where we start our birthdays this morning. Regan Goff, born this day, the 6th of October 1996, is a New Zealand professional cyclist. Now, he rode at the 2015 UCI Track Cycling World Championships, where he actually won gold in the team pursuit. He was the first on the stage in the 2014 Tour de Vineyards, and at the 2014 Junior Track World Championships, he won the Madison and Points Junior titles. And of course, at the Rio Olympics, he was just beaten for the bronze medal by Denmark in the team pursuit. So that's Ryan Goff. Now, moving right along to a athlete who's been involved in both Commonwealth Games and Olympic Games, Kirsten Louise Hellier. Kirsten Hellier, niece Smith, born this day, the 6th of October 1969 in Tokorua, is a former javelin thrower who represented New Zealand at the Commonwealth Games and Olympic Games. Now, she set her personal best of 62.52 metres in 1994 with the old javelin type. Now, Hellier was a coach of the world shot. She was also the coach of the world shot put champion Valerie Adams, and we'll get to that shortly. And from 1998 to 2010, at the 1994 Commonwealth Games, Hellier won the silver medal in the women's javelin with a throw of 60.40 metres. She also competed at the 1990 Commonwealth Games, the 1992 Summer of Olympics. And in the 2018 Queen's Birthday Honours List, Hellier was appointed an officer of the New Zealand Order of Merit to a sport, particularly track and field. And finally, born this day, the 6th of October 1984, well, one Valerie Adams. And Valerie, obviously, we all know she's a great shot putter. She is a 4-time world champion, 4-time indoor champion, 2-time Olympic, 3-time Commonwealth Games champion, and twice IAAF Continental winner. She has a personal throw of 21.24 metres outdoor and 20.5 metres indoor. I wonder what's kind of the difference in terms of throwing indoor and outdoor. Maybe wind or conditions, I suppose. These marks are Oceania, Commonwealth and New Zealand records. Listen, there's too many accolades for me to go over with this particular sportswoman, but pretty amazing. I think by the time she ends her career, she probably will be one of, if not New Zealand's greatest ever field athletes. And that's all our birthdays today. Happy birthday again to Valerie Adams, Kirsten Heller, and Regan Goff. So there you go. Back to you, Paul.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Valerie Adams, one of New Zealand's treasures, really. And obviously she's lining up hopefully for the Olympics in Tokyo as well next year, even though they're going to call it the 2020 Olympics. And so we've heard the best, having a fantastic day and some wonderful cake as well. Love cake on our birthdays, don't we, Ashwin?
Cake.
Moving on then into boxing, and apparently today we are going to have an announcement between Joseph Parker and Junior Farr. Apparently it is a done deal and it will get confirmed today. And the expectation is that it will be before the turn of the year, so later this year. With Auckland back to level one, it's expected that Auckland will be the venue for that one. Apparently the wrangling has been over a refight clause if Parker were to lose, but we'll see. But it looks like that has all now been sorted out, which is good. Also, we've had confirmation that the Bledisloe Cup game will go ahead in Auckland, or the second Bledisloe Cup game, will go ahead in Auckland. There had been backup plans for it to move down to Dunedin, but that has now been confirmed as well. For your rugby fix, go back and listen to one of our best episodes, I think, of the Driving Maul show that happened last night, where we discussed the future of Super Rugby in particular. And also we predicted the match day 23 for the All Blacks in that first Bledisloe Cup test. It takes place in Wellington this Sunday. I'm going to hand you back now to Stephen for the sport that just keeps on giving. It's our NRL update.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. Not a lot of league news around this morning, but a couple of stories that I did pick off the wires. Now, there's a little bit of controversy with the Melbourne Storm at the moment, and are the Roosters too old? But we'll start with the Melbourne Storm this morning. The NRL will issue a please explain to the Melbourne Storm over a potential contravention of rules during their qualifying finals win over the Eels on Saturday. In the 76th-minute, play was stopped to request a Storm trainer to attend Suliasi Vunivalu, who was laying on the ground with cramp. It infuriated the Eels at the time, who had Melbourne on the back foot during that moment, and skipper Clint Gutherson questioning referee Ashley Kine why play was stopped for what looked like a simple cramp. It infuriated the Eels players. At that particular time, in fact, one of the commentators, Andrew Voss, called the moment outrageous, to which the expert Greg Ellinger said, "You do not stop play for a simple cramp during that time of the game." However, on Monday, during his briefing, NRL's head of football, Graham Annesley, broke down the incident to highlight the fact that the Storm trainer had run onto the field and requested for play to be stopped before he had actually reached Vunivalu. So there you go. And finally, in league news this morning, chief reporter for the NRL, Brad Walter, has come out and basically said the Sydney Roosters may need to become the oldest grand final winning team for more than 50 years if they are to achieve a historic premiership three-peat. With 6 survivors from the club's 2013 grand final winning team in their squad, the Roosters have been arguably the most experienced roster in the Telstra Premiership, but one that is also aging, as 7 of the members of the club's NRL squad have celebrated their 30th birthday, and 4 are 33 and older. Code superstar Sonny Bill Williams is 35. Twins Brett and Josh Morris have turned 34 recent. Mitch Orbison, 33. English winger Ryan Hall also is 32. Kiwi enforcer Jared Waidea-Hargreaves, 31, and Jake Friend, 30. In addition, Captain Boyd Cordner, prop Seo Takiahio, winger Daniel Tupou, forward Isaac Liu are aged 28 and older. All except Hall are key members of the Roosters team, but Friend, Cordner, Orbison, Tupou, Morris twins have spent significant time on the sidelines due to injury, while injuries missed the Panthers clash after a training mishap. Well, I'll tell you what, they'll probably be a bit too early to write the Roosters off because of age, but I must admit there were some warning signs when they were thumped in the last game of the regular round 60-8 by South Sydney, and you wonder with that how much it actually took out of them in that 1 point loss last this weekend just gone. So it'll be interesting to see what the guys on a Wednesday night on the standoff have to say. That's Brad, hopefully Sanjay, you may even see Ashwin there hosting it. That's at 8 p.m. on New Zealand Sport Radio. Have a great day, everybody.
News to Ashwin, but I'm sure he'd love to get on again to another show this week, and we'll see what we can do, folks. If you enjoyed the Ashwin edition of the standoff. Yes, it's finals time, obviously, in the NRL. Being an England fan and bringing back to 2003, I'm all for Dad's Army and old teams. Experience tells, folks, when it comes to finals time. That's my message for you. Over in the America's Cup and the America's Magic have revealed their second boat, Patriot, and they are decommissioning Defiant, their first boat, to provide pieces of parts for it. It looks like it's going to be the first boat or the first team to get their second boat on the water. You couldn't tell much from the photos that were released, and some careful lighting to hide the shape of the boat. But it looks like they're going to be the first team to get their second boat on the water. Moving on then into the basketball, and the Heat pulled one back against the Lakers. They were led by Jimmy Butler, doing a triple-double, 40 points, 11 rebounds, and 13 assists. They kept their necks in front all the way through the game before pulling away a bit in the final quarter to win 115 to 104 to take the series to 2-1 in that one. It's a break today before the next game is on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Over in the cycling, and boy, it was a big day in the Giro d'Italia. They raced up Mount Etna, the volcano in Sicily, which is where they've been for the opening three stages of the Giro. And Jonathan Caicedo won the stage for EF Pro Cycling, but the news really was that Tour de France winner Gareth Thomas crashed in the neutralized zone and ended up coming in minutes down, which basically ends his opportunities to came in over 10 minutes down, showing that he's out of the general classification race. That totally opens up the field then, and I think we're going to be looking at looking at the list. Only Vincenzo Nibali is a past Grand Tour winner. All the other contenders will be their first time winning a Grand Tour. So it's going to be a really open race now for the rest of the Giro, with Geraint Thomas losing that time, and also Simon Yates losing 4 minutes, the previous Valletta Espana winner there. Over in the mountain biking, and a five-time national champion, Anton Cooper, the Kiwi champion, came 23rd in the second UCI mountain bike race, World Cup race in the Czech Republic. He finished 7th in the first race 4 days ago, but illness has meant that he was down on energy for this one. We do have he's hoping back up to full fitness for the UCI World Championships, which is taking place in Austria this week, and we'll bring you updates as to how he goes in that race. We have now started the day the best way, up to speed with all the important sports news. Don't forget, you can listen to us on the go as a podcast as well, if you are driving around in that much eased up traffic and in the sunshine today. Also, don't forget to like and share the show. We'll be back at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning with the morning sports briefing, and this evening at 8 p.m. with the basketball show, bringing you up to date with I'll bring you all the details of that, the NBA Finals, as the Lakers take on the Heat.